Hello and welcome to Accurity Data Vibes. I am Petr Mahdalicek, founder and CEO of data solution companies that assist businesses with their data-related challenges. It's been my privilege to converse with data experts, and I am thrilled to have you join us today. Together, we'll delve into crucial data topics and we'll navigate the maze of data issues to come up with guidance for you. So, let's get started on this exciting journey of data discovery.
Hello and welcome to the fourth episode of Data Vibes. Today I will talk about data virtualization, and for that I invited Paul Moxon, who is working as a senior VP data architecture and chief evangelist at Denodo. Hello, Paul.
Hello, thank you, Petr. Thanks for having me on the show. It's looking forward to it. Really looking forward to it.
It's my pleasure. I'm looking forward as well. Data virtualization is a very interesting topic for myself. As somebody who's working in data integration for years, so I'm really looking forward to learn something new today. Maybe before we start with data virtualization, actually I would like to use the opportunity to have a chief evangelist here as a role, because I believe that to evangelize the data topics is very crucial for the whole data initiatives, and especially on the long term, because it's a new and very complex topic and it needs to be explained and needs to be supported. So can you maybe tell us a little bit about you and your role, and how can you or how do you improve the understanding of the data topics?
Okay, so myself, I've been working in the software industry for far too long. I've got lots of gray hair, so 30 plus years in the software industry, working in data integration for many of those years. And more recently, probably for the past 5 years or so, as a chief evangelist, which is a wonderful title. I remember being at a conference in South Africa, and the MC actually said that I had the sexiest title she'd ever heard, which made my wife laugh when she heard that. But being an evangelist, it's a very important role within not only Denodo as a company, but also, like you said, within the industry, explaining data. My role with Denodo, I'm talking to various companies, various organizations about their data strategy and how modern technologies, such as data virtualization as a modern data integration technology, how they fit into their architecture and their data strategy. And I actually agree with you, Petr, that evangelists shouldn't just be at Denodo. And I actually have a team of evangelists. I actually have evangelists in Singapore, covering the Asia Pacific region, in the Middle East, in Europe, as well as some colleagues here in North America. So it's not just like it's me, it's a team of us. But like you said, when you get this very dynamic, rapidly changing environment for data integration, data management, data accessibility, data analytics, etc. It's easy to become confused about, all of these new emerging technologies. The big one being large language models, generative AI. What do they really mean? How do they really work? How can they actually help an organization cut through the hype in some ways, cut through the marketing hype, and really say, hey guys, this technology looks good, but it's not ready. Or this is something we really need to have a look at. That's where I think most organizations need. And once you look at a technology, you think this is the right fit. I could be a big bank, I could be a manufacturing company. This technology is a good fit. Help people understand the technology and how it can help the business. That's what I think a lot of companies don't have. And as a result, you have a lot of companies introducing and adopting technology in silos, and nobody ever makes it all fit together.
Fully agree. Actually, this is also the reason why I started this this show Data Vibes, because it's I see that lots of people are actually taking only on some buzzwords, or I would say the top of the icebergs, like the world is full of AI and what we can achieve by that, and everybody would like to have some automated, personalized customer engagements and automated processes in manufacturing and so on. And the people, I would say, tend to forget that there is lots of other things that needs to be fulfilled first. And actually, the role of this show is basically to show that there is more, or explain there is much more to be fulfilled first, rather than to start to think too big. And I think this is also the unrealistic expectations that we can see, and this is the frustration then that people are impatient to get something really big, and they don't want to hear and understand that basically you have to first build the basics, or like middle stuff that maybe nobody sees. Yeah? Maybe this can be, and will tell me if the data virtualization is actually something that maybe most of the people in the company don't see, because they see maybe some data analytics results, or they see the source systems, or they are working with the source systems, but they don't actually know that there is something in the middle. And again, I believe that the evangelist's big role in every project and every initiative is very important. So thank you for.
I actually think, Petr, that you are an evangelist in your own right. So there you are. You should have evangelist added to your title, CEO and evangelist.
Actually, this is I'm trying to be. So it's my fourth attempt now. And the reason actually why I'm trying to do that is exactly that. I would like to make the of course the customers, but also all the people at the projects aware of what is possible, what is not possible, and how to get there. And I believe that this is the way to talk about about technologies, to talk about alternatives, and so on. And so this is the reason why I picked the topic, and I'm very happy to having you here as a combination of the somebody who can tell us about data virtualization and be a professional evangelist in the same person. You already mentioned it, so it's actually about the data integration, and the data integration. Maybe let's start with this. So, from your perspective, how the world changed when you started, and what you see today in the terms of data integration?
Okay, when I started, I like telling the joke. When I started, I remember punch cards and IBM mainframes. That's how long I've been doing this, which is embarrassing. I think the world's changed in terms of data integration, not because of the technology, but because of the business. Everybody says about how businesses are moving faster, and you just need to look at companies like Amazon. A great example, Amazon can deliver you something the same day or tomorrow. I can order it now, I can get it this afternoon, I can get it tomorrow. And companies have to react, companies have to respond. Well, if my competitors can do something this quickly, I have to do something this quickly. So all of a sudden, there's a need for real-time data, or near real-time. Not hard real-time missile systems, but I need the information now. I've got a customer who's just walked into my retail store, and I need to know if they're a valuable customer. Should we make special offers? Are they in our VIP shopper program, etc.? Because that way I can react to them differently than if it's somebody who's never shopped in the store before and is probably just browsing around. If I have that much information, I can do better customer service and probably get better revenues, repeat sales with that customer. So the business demands more real-time, near real-time data. And you can't do that with ETL loads from last night or even a week ago or something like that. So the businesses are saying, I need data more quickly. I need real-time data. I need to be able to react immediately, even be proactive. I mean, we're talking about, you mentioned analytics with predictive analytics. I want to be proactive and reach out to my customers instead of waiting for an event to happen to react. So the business has changed. The business is working faster, and the old way of doing data integration of ETL loads on a nightly basis or weekly basis into the data warehouse is not working anymore. So that's driving us to change the way we're doing data integration. And it's not just data virtualization. There's things like streaming data, using technologies like Kafka, etc., so that I can do real-time analytics of events as they're happening. So I think that's what's really driving the changes rather than the technology. Business is pulling us into a different set of technologies rather than somebody coming along with something cool and saying, hey, let's do this.
Great. Actually, I just learned that I might have some problems with my microphone. So maybe I will just look shortly at our colleague in the studio. So it's better now?
It's better now, yes.
Okay. Sorry. So some technicality. So I believe that now it will be better. So basically, I absolutely agree with what you said. So I see that people are demanding data faster, and of course, data in today's world means data from multiple data sources and based on multiple technologies. So there are some in-house data, there's some data in the cloud, there's some data from external providers, different data sources, and so on. And to react fast, basically, you need to have them available not in a week or a month, but immediately, because you want to do the immediate reaction and use them, especially if we are talking here about targeted marketing or some personalization on web and so on. And so basically, maybe I think that these days everybody is aware about how the classical approach works. But can you tell us a little bit about what actually data virtualization is and how it can address basically these problems or these challenges, let's call it like that?
Yep. So if you think of data virtualization, it's really a data integration and data delivery technology. And data virtualization sits as a layer between the data sources, your databases, your data warehouses, your applications, your files. There's lots of data still in Excel spreadsheets and things like that.
Absolutely.
So it sits between your data sources and the users. And you connect to the data virtualization platform to your data sources. And once you've done that, you can start to build virtual views, just like in databases. If you're using SQL Server or Oracle, they have the concept of a view. You can build those. You can combine your data from these different data sources to build business-ready views. You can think of them, if you're coming from the old data warehouse world, you can think of them as virtual data marts in some ways. And you can expose those to the users. The users can access the data by connecting to the data virtualization platform. And when they go and request data, make a query to get data, let's say it's a customer data, the data virtualization platform will take care of getting the data that's needed to satisfy that request, combining the data, transforming the data as you've defined, and return the results back up to the user. Now, from a user perspective, I have one place to go to get my data. I don't have to worry whether it's stored in the data warehouse, whether it's in a CRM system like Salesforce, whether it's still in a legacy CRM system or coming from SAP, or if it's in an Excel spreadsheet. I don't need to worry about that. I just know if I connect to this data virtualization platform, I can get the data I need. From the IT perspective, I can deliver data faster because I'm not having to set up data pipelines and copy it into a data lake or a data warehouse. Once I've configured the data virtualization platform of where to get the data from, it will go and get it on demand. So I'm getting real-time data, which has got pros and it's got cons. It's not the solution for everything. But it does allow me to deliver that integrated, curated data to the users in real time as opposed to last night's ETL build or load or something like that.
It's amazing. I have to say, it's amazing. I of course have lots of questions related to this, but first we'll try to answer the question from the audience. I see that Michael is asking, shouldn't the data virtualization be used to handle the requirements or requests for data latency in the pipelines?
Should data virtualization be used to handle the data latency in the pipelines? I'm trying to understand the question itself. I've got to admit, I'm struggling to know what Michael actually means. But one of the values of data virtualization is the fact that it's getting data from the data sources directly. So if I want to get customer data from my CRM system, let's say it's Salesforce, or I want to get data from ServiceNow, I can get that directly from the application using data virtualization instead of having to set up data pipelines to load it into my data lake or data warehouse, and that introduces the latency that Michael talked about. So, you do have the advantage that I'm giving you the freshest real-time data. Obviously, we then start having considerations about, well, what's the impact on those source systems, etc. There are many nuances to that. That was actually. And again, it is data virtualization is not the solution to, it's not the silver bullet. Just like data warehouses were not the silver bullet to analytics, they were a good addition to analytics, but they were not the solution to everything we have.
Actually, this, the performance on the source systems was one of the question that is on my mind, because it's also something that I hear many times if I'm talking to people. They're talking about virtualization AI. Actually, it's not for us. Even I believe that they know all the details, but they say it's not for us because we need to have the source systems or the front systems high performance, and there is a huge risk that the virtualization actually puts too much effort on the servers, and it will have a latency in the response and so on. So can you comment this? Is it's somehow handled? So have you been thinking on that by designing data virtualization platforms?
Yes. I mean, there are solutions to that challenge, but I will go back to what we talked about at the beginning. If the business is demanding real-time data, then you have to provide real-time data if they've got a genuine need for it. So somehow we're going to start opening up those systems of record, those applications that are running the business have to be opened up beyond just what that application's doing. So, you can think of banking, core banking systems. You have to actually start to make the data available in real time because the business is demanding it. You used to be able to say, no, you can't touch my critical systems during 9 until 5. That world's gone and it's not coming back. And the business is going to say, you have to make that data available. In which case, and interesting, Max actually gave me the answer here. He preempted my answer with his question. One of the solutions is caching. Data virtualization platforms can actually say, okay, you don't want me to send real-time queries down to this particular source system. So I can take the data and I can cache it within the scope of the data virtualization platform. And from then on, we'll query the cached version of the data. Now, if you cache data, it's not real-time data. There's you've got to refresh that cache on a certain periodic basis to keep it fresh. So it is a copy. It's not pure virtualization. You are copying data, and it's this compromise. And you have to make compromises when you're building your data architecture. You make compromises between, am I going to copy the data and work on a copy, the old ETL data pipelines, or am I going to virtualize the data? And you're going to end up with a hybrid system which has got both. So caching is a way of dealing with that. But ultimately, the business is going to demand that we open up those systems. And I've seen this. I've seen supermarket chains in the United States where the application administrators absolutely refuse to allow you to access the data in real time until somebody with a C in the title came along and said, you will do that, or I'll find somebody else who will do it. And that's the business demanding that you open up those applications.
I believe that this is again something that the world is changing, and the world is realizing that data and let's say requests, they are related to data. It's less an IT topic, it's more a business topic, and it's about if you want to be successful in your business, you have to find a solution how to adapt your IT systems to be available to fulfill these needs. And if you need data on time, I mean, on the fly, then you have to build the underlying system the way, or support the performance the way that they can provide it. Yeah. I was more thinking about these days, because these days, actually, this is something that I hear also very often. Lots of customers are from the banking systems that we are dealing with, and of course, they are there is absolutely, I would say, no understanding for touching the from disk data or course banking data directly, because of the risk of the performance, or losing the performance, of course.
Yeah. And you know, I can just say that at Denodo, we have actually got some of the largest banks in the world as our customers. You know, JP Morgan, HSBC, Deutsche Bank, Credit Suisse, UBS. So you know, we've got some very, very large banking customers, and there are so many areas in the bank that use data virtualization. It doesn't have to be the core banking systems, but we're seeing more and more that if you're doing banking on your phone, on your mobile phone, then you need real-time data, and they have to open up those systems. That's just how the world is changing.
Yeah. So basically, if you started to talk about some of the customers, so can you give us some real live examples? Let's start with the examples. So when it should be, or when this data virtualization approach fits the best, where it's actually like where you don't see any big problems or any big blockers from both technology and the companies.
Yeah, I mean, there are many use cases. The challenge with data virtualization is like that Swiss Army knife. It does everything. You know, it may not be the best at a particular use case, but it can do a very good job on use cases. But things like single view of customer 360, sometimes it's called. That's a very important one, because people want to have a better understanding of their customer, and customer data is scattered probably across, in a large organization, it could be 20, 30, 40 different systems, applications and databases, etc. And how do I pull all that together so I have that complete view of customer? In banking, it could be for know your customer, for anti-money laundering purposes, having that whole view of all of the accounts and holdings and investments that customer has with your bank, so you don't get hit by AML.
I can imagine that for e-commerce, and to identify everything about the visitors of the e-shop or the website.
Exactly.
Also very interesting.
Yes, I mean, we've got one customer who actually captures, they've got a huge data lake where they capture all sorts of key clicks and web logs and things like that. And then they look at that so they can look at customers who've subscribed to their products and what sort of churn. They can do churn modeling, predictive modeling for churn. They can look at, okay, what sort of propensity to buy, propensity to purchase as you're going through the website and things like that. So analytics, especially some of the more modern, more advanced analytics, you need more and more data. You need accurate, clean data, as well as the traditional reporting, things like I mentioned, single view of customer, etc. Data marketplaces, so that your business users have one place to go to get trusted and approved data, as opposed to going and finding it themselves. And then you find that, well, John has got a different version of the data than Mary, and now they're arguing about who's right. You know, one place to go and get your data. So very, very many use cases, but they're some of the classic ones that we see.
Yeah, perfect. May I ask? Okay, so this was, let's say, the best fitting scenarios. I'm quite sure there will be also some limitations. So is there something like where the people should, let's say, stop even thinking of using the data virtualization, or is just, let's say, some limits that they should be aware of? And let's say, yeah, so some examples where it doesn't fit that well.
Yeah. One example I will give, and this is going back in history, just 5-7 years ago, some people used to talk about, well, I can build this virtual data warehouse. I don't need my data warehouse if I use data virtualization. And that is not true. Data virtualization does not replace a data warehouse. You still need, if you've got Snowflake, if you're still running Oracle or Teradata, you still need those data warehouses. Because where data virtualization is a poor fit, should we say, is if I've got very, very large data sets. It could be from my data lake because I want to do some data science or something like that. Getting those very large, and I'm talking about, it could be, obviously people have got petabytes of data in their data sets, but they're not reading all of that. But I could be returning a query, and it could be having 1 billion rows of data. If you're doing that through data virtualization, where I'm just reading these massive data sets through data virtualization, every time you want that data, you're going to go and get it again and again, versus saying, hey, I'm going to put this in my data lake and store it in my data lake. And that way I don't have to go and get that whole data set again through data virtualization from all of the different source systems.
Yeah.
So things like that, think about what's the pattern of usage through the data virtualization platform, and is it appropriate? Is it massive data sets that I just want to go and materialize, store them in a data lake or something like that?
I see. I'm thinking that when we start talking about the classical data integration approach, like the consolidated financial reporting and so on, I guess this was the first motivation, or one of the, I would say, over the most seen over motivation for the companies why they invested in integrating data, is now basically more driven by sales and marketing, and I would say also these large volumes of data, but also the say complexity is not that, or the business logic is not that complex as the financial data. What do you think?
Yes, I mean, we're getting more data sources. I mean, this is why we came up with data lakes. Everything didn't fit into the data warehouse. I remember when databases and data warehouses started saying, yes, you can store an XML or a JSON document into a cell, and started introducing capabilities into the databases and data warehouses, because we've started to get more complex data. Data lakes is the sort of result of this, that, okay, we have all this data, it doesn't fit nicely into one particular data source, one particular data repository. And so we're getting more and more data. We're using it more than just reporting. We want dashboards. We want to feed data into mobile apps on mobile phones and things like this. So we're looking for data which goes beyond the traditional financial reporting, budgetary reporting things. And I think this is what's interesting about data warehouse migrations and things like this. It's effectively like a heart transplant, because the data coming out of these systems is not just the reporting data. It's the blood. Some people say oil. I actually think it's the blood of an organization. And if you stop the flow of that data, the organization will die. Everything they do is based on that data. Now, data is more valuable than the applications. Yeah. That's the truth.
This is exactly so. And basically the good data integration is the key for all the advanced use cases, like the process automation, or again, my favorite, AI, or advanced analytics and so on. So basically, if you get control over the integration, and if you get control over the cost over the integration, so that you are able to change the technology, because the technologies are changing. So the technologies of yesterday will be not the technology of tomorrow, and you have to buy new products and you have to integrate them fast. And also, I would say that one of the topic that I hear very often is the very, very slow go-to-market. And they get great ideas, but they don't implement it because they know that the integration of the data will take ages. And basically, what is the advantage for some business today, because nobody is doing it, they decide to, let's say, to not go for it, because it would take 3 to 6 months to get it live. And this is also what I see as this modern data integration approach. Data virtualization is one of a big benefit, where you really need fast answer, fast reaction, and maybe also fast proof of concepts, to just check if it makes sense, if the data are bringing, because we are overwhelmed by dozens of tons of data, and actually you don't know if this what you are looking for will work or not, and you don't want to invest millions of dollars to play. Maybe hundreds of thousands, okay, or dozens of thousands, but not millions. I'm afraid that we are slowly but surely getting to the last questions, and then as I said when we were preparing this show, I have so many questions and so many ideas about the data virtualization that I would like to ask. So maybe we do in the spring next year some follow up, or maybe earlier. But for today,
I would love to do that. I would love to do that, Petr.
Likewise, really likewise. So I see that we have one more question here. Would data virtualization be a companion to data observability pipelines? Okay.
Very quickly, I know we're short for time. Yes, Michael, I think it would be data observability. I can't even say the word. Observability pipelines are very good for looking at who is using the data, even looking at some of the quality of the data and things like that. Being able to see how the data is flowing within your organization. And I think that data virtualization is complementary to that. It certainly doesn't overlap with it. I think they're addressing two separate but maybe related issues. That's a quick answer.
Thank you for that. I would just add that for data observability, data quality, data contracts, and similar topics will be for sure also topics for data vibes in the future, because I see that there's lots of confuse about that, and lots of questions, and actually are very interesting topics. So, but for today, I would like to say thank you very much for joining us, for sharing your knowledge with us, Paul. I would like to say thank you to the visitors as well.
No, thank you. It's been wonderful being here. Thank you, Petr, and obviously thank you to the audience as well.
So, and please don't forget to follow us on LinkedIn. If you liked what you hear here today, please make sure that you drop a like, or that you drop some comments in the comment section, and I will be looking forward to be with you here next time again. So, Paul, thank you much.
Thank you.